Hey, what's up with it, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, as you can see, this is a League of Legends video, a little bit different from our standard World of Warcraft upload that I've been doing here as of the last couple months. But as we get ready for the next patch and the next raid, and wow, I've been playing some League and some other games here on the side, so rather than just not posting anything, I figured I might as well post some stuff on some content that I'm doing. And I've played League a ton since pretty much the beginning. I think I started in season 2, so the last 6-7 years. And so I figured I would go ahead and post some content because I have some video ideas of some stuff for League of Legends specifically that I wanted to post. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So this is some Zilean gameplay, obviously. Zilean is actually my most played champion, and luckily for me, he is actually pretty decent right now as far as just how the tier lists are as support. He's actually pretty strong. He's always been good to some capacity if you play him right. But he's exceptionally good as it stands right now in the kind of current meta. So I am playing support. Obviously right now I am a support main, so that's kind of the perspective of all the content that I have or will be posting in regards to League is going to be either from a support or a jungling role for the most part. Those are the two roles that I personally play a lot. But you see we were able to pick up a couple easy kills down here in the bot lane. As we get into a little closer towards the mid game, it does get a little bit scarier for me as Ashe gets stronger, because if Morgana does land one snare, more than likely I'm gonna die. So I need to be real careful of that, because that can be a real easy way for me just to get insta killed if I get hit by that snare. She's got a couple points in that Q. The duration of that's gonna be long enough for me to die, especially if I don't have my ult up. So with that being said, right there I kind of juke into the snare. It's a perfect example. As we get into level 4 or 5, something like that, the one snare is enough for me to get killed. So misplayed that. I juked into that. It was completely my fault. Pretty frustrating. I have another couple I think there's only one or two more plays where I do the same thing. I die to this stupid Morgana Q. I just am not positioning well. But that being said, there's a couple things worth kind of pointing out as far as Zilean and how he currently sits. You can see on the bottom left there what runes I'm running. I find Comet to be the best. You can also run Airy if you prefer that, but because you're basically wanting to get that damage anytime you get the double bombs, the Comet just synergizes so well. It's just guaranteed damage when you have that, especially if you land multiple. You can get that Comet can be hitting multiple targets. Right there you can see my positioning was off. I basically stood up too close as the minions died. She hit me with a snare as the last minion died. I didn't get out soon enough. Took a couple tower shots because of that, and was just poor positioning on my part. But back to what I was saying is Comet seems to be the best matchup as far as the runes go with Zilean and his kit. With that being said, you can run Airy. Airy does give you a shield on yourself or allies when you cast your E. So you can use that if you kind of want to go that build. You can even potentially go Airy into Ardent Sensor, and then anytime you cast your E on a target that's an ally, with that shield will give them that Ardent Sensor buff. So that is also another kind of play style. That's actually one I used to play. And you can also run Font of Life, which is the anytime you do a movement impairing effect on a target, does give a heal. That will also proc Ardent Sensor. So there's a couple ways you can also kind of play that play style as we get the buffs into the enchantment items up in this next patch. Things like Redemption, Sensor, things like that will be slightly stronger. So that playstyle is also a viable one. I found this to be kind of the more mage caster type playstyle to be a little more effective. But either way, it's kind of up to preference. If you do want to run that build, you definitely can. Now you can see I am maxing my bombs first. A couple reasons for that is because we do kind of go an AP type build. The bombs end up just hitting very hard, so for that reason I do prefer to max bombs first. You can also do an E max first, which is also a very strong, very strong build. Your mid game is incredibly powerful if you're able to get any picks. The only downside is that you are kind of dependent on your teammates being around you, because you do very little damage since you have no points in your bombs, but your CC is pretty unmatched at that point if you do that. So it's kind of preference. If you think you have enough damage on your team and you're looking solely for utility, there's nothing wrong with the Emax. You just have to know you yourself are going to be doing very little damage. So any kills that you're going to be trying to get are going to be contingent on your teammates being around you. So that's one thing worth mentioning. But I generally 99% of the time as of right now, I'm going with the Q max first, and then I max my E second. That seems to be working the best so far. As you get into mid and late game, once you have 3, 4, 5 points in your E, you become a real big force to be reckoned with. You're just so strong, and you can your pick potential is so good. You can keep your teammates so safe. It's just very strong. You can see right there, I just landed 1 E on the Garen, was enough to keep him slowed for my team to basically turn and collapse. It really capitalizes on his lack of positioning or any mispositioning that he has. When it comes to items, what I basically do every single time is I upgrade my Spell Thief's Edge, I get cooldown boots, and then I go straight into that Spooky Ghost item. I can't remember the name of it. I always forget. I should call it Spooky Ghost. But the Ghost item is very, very good on Zilean. It synergizes so well with your E and your ability to catch and peel. It gives you a couple options. You can basically cast Spooky Ghost and then E yourself to engage and then land your bombs off of the ghost slow, or you can use it to peel multiple targets. You can cast a ghost. If say you have 3 enemies that are kind of like rushing into your back line, you can use the ghost and then E the 3rd enemy, so it basically gives you like 3 slows in a sense. So there's a bunch of ways you can kind of play it. The other item that I build next is Shurelya's Reverie, which is the speed up item, and that works really well with your team. So you can basically use that to speed up, and then you can point click the E onto an enemy, and then your team is basically gap closing at that point, and it just gets really strong. You can see there Garen, I didn't realize was in that bush. He went up the top side of the the lane there, and I didn't notice that he went down because I was tunneled on trying to kill that Morgana. Misplay by me there. But yeah, so this build that I have, you can see right here, is basically more or less your core. Next, I upgrade my Sight Stone. That's the next thing I do. And then the last item, you can either get like a Redemption or a Locket, or you can get that, what's it called, Morella Nomnicron, or whatever you say it. That does give the Mortal Wounds debuff when you cast spells, is also a good item depending on their comp. All of those are good, viable options, just kind of depending on what the enemy team comp is and what you're trying to do. Redemption is also a very strong item on Zilean because you can land a double bomb, and then basically if that double bomb you land does set up a decent team fight, you can cast Redemption on that spot because you know your team is going to be engaging on that, and it's a very good item in conjunction with Zilean's kit just in general. Now the next big thing, the most important thing, the most notable thing about Zilean is your ultimate. Now, it's a really tough ability to master, in my opinion. It's one of the most powerful ults that any support has in the game for sure. It's incredibly impactful, but it gets very hard and very reactionary to use it well. There's one, I have a play later in here, you'll see that I intended to ult the Twitch on my team, and I just wasn't quick enough. I didn't react fast enough, which happens a lot of times, especially when you get into late game, because you really want to be ulting. Most of the time you're going to be ulting one of your carries, right? If you have your back line is getting dove really hard, the ult is amazing for that. It's basically a free GA that's up every minute, right? And it's incredibly powerful because it's just a huge gold value in these team fights. Not to mention, usually when they do that, they'll blow a lot of cooldowns to get that kill. So you basically you can completely negate, 2 or 3 or 4 ults just by your ult alone, depending on how many resources they're expending to try and kill your carry. So it's a very strong ability. However, when the carries have such low health, you have such a short time to react in those situations. And if you cast it too early, the problem is people will stop DPSing the carry intentionally, wait for your ult to run out, and then basically re-engage, which does happen. And so you have to be aware. I did accidentally just steal that kill there with an auto attack. So might be, I felt bad. I was like, oh shoot, I was just trying to help make sure you didn't get away. But yeah, so that's really what is going to take the most time. If any of you guys are newer to Zilean, the E into the double bomb into the E combo is pretty straightforward. It does not take you more than a couple games to kind of start getting the hang of that. But the ult gets really tricky, especially as you get into later game, because like I said, it's only I think it's a 6-second debuff or 8-second or buff, I guess, on the target. So people will just wait that out. And so you have to be very very aware of what abilities and cooldowns the enemy team has and how quickly they can kill whatever target it looks like they're trying to kill, and then be reacting in time. The other thing is, if you end up getting stacked up, it can be tough to click the ult on the target. I know you can use the little portraits over on the map, but I never really find that quicker for me personally. But anyways, you see we end up getting a good kill here. You work really well with ADCs like Twitch or carries that have very low mobility, because you really allow them a whole bunch of utility in their kit that they don't have otherwise. So for Twitch, for example, it works out amazing because Twitch can go stealth. I can speed him up, he can engage, and then even if he's in a bad position to where he's not going to be able to escape that engage, I can ult him and then get him out of that situation. So you see here, I tried to double bomb the Urgot to stun the Yasuo. It didn't work. I get just in range to get my ult off on Urgot there. I had to be real careful because obviously I have 142 health or whatever it was, and if Yasuo dashes to me one time, if minions are around me, he dashes through minions, I'm easily going to get killed. So I basically just hang on the outskirts, wait for Urgot to know that Yasuo is trying to commit to the kill. Then I dip in, get that ult off real quick, and then get back out. Now this is the fight I was talking about earlier where I did not get my ult off quick enough on this Twitch. I'm waiting for them to actually engage. I realize it right there. I peel out. You can see my cursor was over the Twitch as he died right there, and I couldn't hit my R quick enough. He just died so fast after that Yasuo knockup. Not to mention, I was trying to get in a spot where I wasn't getting cleaved by them, so that I also didn't die. But misplayed that a little bit there. I didn't get my ult off soon enough, and it did cost us Twitch's life right there. So just things to be aware of and things to practice. I have been playing Zilean a decent amount since I have been playing League the last couple weeks, but definitely still a little bit rusty. But with that being said, I do think he is so strong, and he has been the last couple seasons, honestly. Since they kind of reworked him and buffed him, he's just been very, very strong. If you kind of can play him right and you capitalize on his toolkit that he has. So here we're just trying to push out this top tower. We have mid. If we want to get the top tower here, because that allows us to have Baron control whenever that comes back up, is just kind of the safer play. At this point, we already have minions up here. Urgot was up here. We got a couple kills up top. So that's what we're just kind of trying to wait and bait it out. I am kind of scared of this Yasuo right here. I think right there, I thought he was going to dash to me. I didn't know we were going to kill him. So you can see I flashed kind of preemptively. He ignited me and I panicked there a little bit. I didn't need to flash, but I was worried. Late game Yasuo that has any kind of gold on him is pretty scary. Can kill you pretty quick. Not to mention, if you do get knocked up, you can't cast during that knockup. So you just got to be aware of that and kind of preemptively be casting your ultimate and things like that, because he can literally just kill you so quickly. But yeah, no, at this point now, we're just kind of trying to rotate around the map. Your priority when you're playing Zilean at this late in the game is you just want to make sure you're kind of with your teammates, with your carries, and ensuring that champions like Yasuo or Garen are not being able to engage on them, and then if they do get caught by something like Morgana, Q, you're able to ult them and save them. That's really your priority at this point. It's not even so much trying to get a random double bomb pick as much as it is to let your carries be carries and to make sure that they're safe and able to do damage and survive these fights or any kind of pick potential plays that they get in. Anyways, we secure the win here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of format. I am going to be posting some other League of Legends content. I have some ideas of some videos that I do want to put together. So let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate to let me know what you guys want to see as it relates to League of Legends content moving forward on the channel. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.